hope you've thought about this a little bit. You've been a part of really most of the most prolific offenses in this school's history, either as a quarterback, as an offensive coordinator, or now as a head coach. Where does this one rank? Because with all the honors these guys racked up at the end of the year and the numbers out there, for you, as maybe the enjoyment factor, where does it rank with you?
Well, it's as high as any of them, other than Barry winning the Heisman Trophy. I mean, because he won the Heisman Trophy, and that year we averaged like 49 points a game back when most people averaged 20. And we weren't in a hurry-up offense. I often think at times how many points we'd have averaged if we were at the line of scrimmage and not huddling up. So I would say that because of him winning the Heisman, that was a pretty special year. But this year, from a statistic standpoint and an excitement standpoint, it's been a great year.
But if you took those personnel and ran this up-tempo, because you average, I looked it up, 73 plays a game in 88.
Right.
So, you know, at 80, 82 plays, quicker pace.
Well, somebody can do the math. That's an extra 12 plays by 10, it's 120 plays. So you take the total number of plays at 49 by what we did and divide it in, add 120 more and divide it in, you get pretty close. Be around 60, right? Somewhere in that area. It's hard to compare. They were both great years. But, you know, we want to continue to have an exciting brand of offense here at Oklahoma State. I said that or 6 or 7 years ago, or whenever I got the job here, that I wanted to have an exciting brand of offensive football that people would want to watch. And so we were fortunate that this year fell in that category.
Would you like to play with something?
Mm-hmm. Sure would. It's a lot of fun.
How would you handle it? Would you been pretty good at it?
I don't know. I wouldn't have been as good as Whedon because I can't throw it like Whedon can. He's not as smart as I am, but I certainly can't throw it like he can.
Getting back to Kendall a minute, was there his year this year as opposed to last year, is that a product of the offense, or is he doing something, did he make some change to allow him to have this kind of year?
Well, last year you'd have to wipe out because he missed 9 games. The year before, he rushed for, how many yards did he rush for? About 1,600, wasn't it?
1,600.
About the same, because he rushed for 1,600 this year, 15 something. So
40 yards behind.
Right, so statistically it's very close. Now the difference being we threw for 350 this year, and 2 or 3 years ago we were like 245 throwing. So because of what we did on offense this year, he was able to have success. And he has played in an offense more similar to what they have in the NFL, and he'll fit into that scheme just as well.
Assuming you didn't know what to do when you got here, how do you summarize Corey Leonard's career?
Well, he's had as good a senior year as just about anybody we've had around here with all those solo tackles, and he made the 2 big hits on 4th down. But he's been a great leader for us. I can't stress how important he was to our team as a vocal leader on that side of the ball when we were really young. And through the first 3 or 4 or 5 games, kind of looking for some guidance, he's been really good for us. But he's a guy that changed after he was here a couple of years. He decided he likes to play football and stopped missing class, and he started doing the right things, and it's helped him in a big way.
Because of what he's contributed, despite maybe some of his physical ailments, does Jarka go in your all-time respect category?
Yeah, he goes in that, the All Madden team. I don't watch much pro football, but I see that he kind of falls in the All Madden team. When you get your knee drained a couple times a week and you go through half of a practice and you don't ever run, and you look, he looks terrible running on the field and running off the field. And then he plays, 50 plays a game or whatever. So you have a lot of respect for guys that are willing to do that.
Mike, last year when you went looking for a coordinator, it seems like you had some things to sell, but a lot of them were conceptual, which is, we've always had good offenses. Kendall Hunter's coming back, but, we like our receivers and quarterbacks, but they really hadn't done anything. This time it seems like you got a lot more to sell.
I agree.
If Whedon comes back, you got the all Big 12 quarterback.
There were some issues.
It seems like you'd have a lot more to offer this year than even last year.
Well, there were some issues last year with that, and the quote that I made a month ago was, I thought we would be better than what people thought, but there was just no evidence to bring to the table. And well, now obviously we've got some guys that are returning, and we've got an offensive line that's somewhat established now. So it's a pretty good situation here, and I think there'll be. Well, I know that there's a bunch of interest in this job. I mean, I will say that.
Going back to what Bill asked about the BCS job, it's becoming a place where the offensive coordinators here
Be a head
move
coach.
on to pretty good jobs and fairly quickly. Is that? I would think that's another pretty good selling point.
It is, and I think in my situation, part of the decision that I have to make is if you bring in a guy that's established and has a reputation across the country like Dana did, I think you take a chance on him not being here very long. And so you have to make the decision, is a coordinator of that magnitude best for Oklahoma State, or is it better to bring a guy in that may hang around here for 3 or 4 years? But what happens is when a coordinator comes to Oklahoma State and we're having success and winning games, people want to know why. And then they start looking and they say, well, we want the same setup at our place, and that's why you lose them. I will say that I've gotten a number of calls the last 2 years from guys on our staff that it didn't pan out, but we get a lot of phone calls. And you can always tell because a couple weeks before a bowl, and then after a bowl game, you start getting all these phone calls from different area codes, so you automatically know who it is before you even pick it up. It's coaches or athletic directors calling for permission to speak to your coaches.
Did you just get bombarded with applicants and phone calls after it was official that Dana was gone?
Well, I didn't, because not that many people have my phone number, but the office has, but we will.
Could you see promoting from within, or is that going to have to be someone from the outside?
I hadn't made that decision. I think we have quality coaches on our staff that are certainly capable of running an offense. And I just have to sit down after the bowl game. I'm going to visit with each of the coaches on our staff. I want to know how much information they know and how much they can give me on what we're currently running right now. And what I did this year, Dave, is when Coach Fedora came here the first year, I didn't really get involved in the offense. I knew a little bit about it. And the second year, I was more involved and learned the offense, so I had a better feel for it. And I did the same this year. I didn't really get involved in the offense. I know a little bit about it, but not enough to speak intelligently on it at this particular time. So I want to sit down with them and find out how much they know in comparison to what we had to execute this year to have success.
For our purposes, that's good for a staff, right? Keep moving up.
No question, yes. And last year we didn't because I wanted to change our style of play. And certainly wouldn't want to change our style of play with somebody that hasn't coached in that system.
Did you say you talked about maybe suggestions you might have in staff or out of staff?
I have not yet. It's moved really fast with Coach Holgorsen, and so I gave him his space because when you're in a situation like he is, where you have an opportunity to sign a contract that's worth that much money, your head's spinning, and there's a lot going on. And I think the best thing for him is to get this taken care of. So I really believe now he'll be much more relaxed and can focus on the bowl game more so than if this would have gone through till the first week in January, because there's just so many things going on in a situation like that I would think it would be difficult to focus on running an offense compared to. I mean, there's just a lot going on. Coaching staff, who do you keep? Who do you let go, and contract and years and money and all that stuff. So
Several times. You say something like professional guy you replaced, there's one like 9, 9, and 10 games or something like that.
Yeah, it's a little scary.
Several times.
Honestly, I see, because I don't keep up with anybody else. I thought they won like 7 games, and somebody told me they won 9, and I was unaware of that. So, but I don't know anything about what's going on there. I know Coach Stewart just a little bit, and have a lot of respect for him. I don't know Oliver Luck, but it's hard for me to comment on anything going on over there. But it is a little scary.
But it's just kind of a statement about your profession overall.
Go ahead, John.
Several times this year, you've talked about with Dana, you wanted a play caller. It wasn't necessarily the scheme, but you wanted a play caller. Is that what you're looking for going forward, do you think, too?
I think it's important, very important. There's different ways to move the ball and have success. But I think it's important that whoever's calling the plays has a good feel for it with what they're trying to accomplish in their system.
I know you said that no one really could have envisioned the type of production you've gotten offensively this year. You can go down the list several players, but Brandon's got to be up there near the top. Could you talk about his transformation this year?
Well, he's been very good for us. There's times in the first 4 or 5 games of the year that his decision making wasn't great, but that should be expected. He went through some growing pains just like every other quarterback. Just because he's a junior and he's 27 doesn't mean he wasn't going to go through some growing pains because of his lack of experience. But he's obviously much better now than when we started, and he's been good for us. He's been durable. He's made plays. He's had good poise, and I would suspect at this time next year that he'll be pretty highly regarded when it comes to an opportunity to play at the next level.
What's the next step he could take in his development if he comes back next year?
Well, he's only played in 12 games, so he needs experience, and he'll continue to develop his throwing mechanics, and obviously his arm's very strong. But his ability to read defenses and get a feel of where to go with the ball will be very important. And he'll get better. He'll continue to improve. He has a ways to go, but he'll get better each game.
You think his age will scare off NFL people?
No, I don't. Because I don't think there's enough guys out there that can play at that level. I think that he's 28 at this time next year, and in my opinion, I don't have any experience in the NFL, so I'm just throwing this out. If somebody says he can come in here for 4 or 5 years and he can help us, I think they would worry about after the 4 or 5 years if they were able to get a player that could help them.
Mike, you know this too, he's 28, but other than what he did with his arm and baseball, there's not been a lot of wear and tear on his body, right?
That's correct. He hadn't been hit hardly at all. I mean, up until he gets hit about maybe once or twice a game. So he's been hit 30 times. You know, he didn't get hit any when he was practicing around here, and I can't imagine he got hit in baseball. So he's in pretty good shape.
An interesting name that has surfaced since Dana's deal happened is Mike Leach. So, if you thought that he gave you the best chance to have one special season, even knowing you'd probably have to turn right around a year from today and do it all over again, find another guy, would he be a guy? Well, maybe not Mike, but a guy like that. Even
Well,
if you knew you probably had him for 1 year.
Yeah, it's not fair for me to comment on anybody in particular right now because I haven't had to reach out and contact any coaches yet because I don't have to move fast. And so because of the situation we're in and because of the situation that other coaches are in and trying to get ready for bowl games, it wouldn't be fair for me to comment on any coach right now in any particular area just because of the situation at hand.
But you know the guy. You know him. You've known him before he was a rock star and after he became a rock star. Do you think he could really coordinate for somebody and work for somebody or work with somebody and
Well, I don't know him
be
like
a distraction?
obviously I haven't worked with him, so I don't know him in that capacity. I know him from being in Big 12 meetings and seeing him on the road recruiting and things like that, but Mike and I have never sit down and talked football or anything related to those issues. So it wouldn't be fair for me to comment any at all. I don't know. I mean, he's still in Florida from what I gather, and I don't know what's going on with that situation, but it'd be hard for me to comment on him when that's a long ways away. I'm going to try to move as fast as I can on this. In the first week in January is a good time for me to contact some coaches, and most of the bowl games will be over, so I can start to move a little bit in that area and see what's out there in comparison to what's here on our staff.
Are you planning to go to conventions?
Yeah, I have to be there this year. I'm speaking, so I have to be at it.
Isn't that a little dangerous when you got an opening?
What's that?
You go to convention when you got an opening? I heard that's just miserable for a little bit.
Well, I'm speaking at the convention this year. Grant Taff had asked me to speak about a month ago, and so I said I would, and so I'll be there. What you can do is take your wife with you, and then if somebody comes up to her, just tell her that she has dinner reservations. You got to move really fast, and blame her. So, anyway, I have another meeting. I apologize at 10:30, so I'm running a little late. You got some players out there, but we should have much more information on this first week in January. Thanks.